Chapter 11, The Shadow of the Beast. Mizuki, your acting was terrible. Naruto's icy voice echoed through the dead silence of the woods. Mizuki's eyes widened in sheer terror. What? You aren't afraid? Iruka lay bleeding on the ground, horror in his eyes. Naruto, run. Mizuki's mind snapped in rage. He unslung the giant shuriken from his back and hurled it toward Naruto with all his strength. Swoosh! The razor-sharp iron blade sliced through the air, aiming straight for Naruto's throat. Naruto didn't flinch. He didn't even blink. Tekai! Clang! A heavy metallic boom rang out. When the shuriken struck Naruto's bare neck, it sounded like a sword slamming into a wall of solid titanium. The giant shuriken shattered into pieces and rained down onto the dirt. Naruto's skin didn't bear a single scratch. Mizuki gasped, his breath catching in his throat. Iron skin? What kind of jutsu is this? Naruto raised his right hand. A thin, needle-like beam of blue chakra condensed at the tip of his index finger. Kanbanshuko Haki. Naruto could feel every frantic beat of Mizuki's heart and every drop of his rising terror. Soru. Boom! In a fraction of a second, Naruto vanished into a blur, reappearing directly in front of Mizuki. Mizuki's soul almost left his body. Before he could fall back, Naruto drove his index finger straight into Mizuki's chest. Shigen. Plunge. With a single strike, Mizuki collapsed violently to the ground, gasping for air as darkness invaded his vision. He couldn't comprehend how a 12-year-old child had crushed him in less than a second. Naruto unrolled the scroll of seals. Within seconds, his razor-sharp mind memorized the hand seals and chakra flow for the multi-shadow clone jutsu, Tajukage Bunshno Jutsu. He then turned to Iruka, his voice calm and low. Iruka-sensei, you threw your body in front of that blade to save me. In this entire village, you are the only person I have no intention of killing. Creak. Behind Naruto, space warped, opening a massive ocean blue door. Before Iruka's stunned eyes, Naruto stepped inside the spatial portal with the forbidden scroll and vanished into thin air. Iruka sat frozen on the ground, staring at the empty woods, a single whisper escaping his lips, a monster. Chapter 12, Team 7 and the Bell Test. The next morning, silence hung heavy in the Hokage's office. Hiruzen Sarutobi exhaled a thick cloud of smoke from his pipe as he listened to Iruka's report. Defeated Mizuki in 1 second without hand seals? Vanished using spatial jutsu? Hiruzen's eyes were filled with deep concern. Minato, what has your son truly become? Just then, the door opened, and Naruto bounded inside. He wore his leaf forehead protector, a goofy grin plastered across his face. Yo, Hokage-sama, I'm an official ninja now. Naruto shouted, acting as if nothing had happened the previous night. Hiruzen stared intently at him, but he couldn't pierce Naruto's flawless facade. Good job, Naruto. Today is your team assignment. At the academy, Team 7 was announced, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, and Haruno Sakura. Sakura cheered at being paired with Sasuke, while Sasuke glared at Naruto with deep suspicion. Rumors of Mizuki's mysterious disappearance were already circulating through the village, and Sasuke knew Naruto was at the center of it. That afternoon, their Jonin leader, Hatake Kakashi, met them at training ground 3. Kakashi pulled 2 silver bells from his pocket and tied them to his belt. Your test is simple, Kakashi announced, reading his orange book with his single visible eye. Get these bells from me before noon tomorrow. Whoever fails goes back to the academy. But Kakashi-sensei, there are only 2 bells. Sakura pointed out. Which means at least one of you will fail, Kakashi smirked. When I say, start, come at me. Ready, start, swoosh. Sasuke and Sakura instantly melted into the high grass to hide. Naruto, however, remained standing right in the open, hands casually resting in his pockets. Kakashi looked up from his book. Hey, Naruto, aren't you going to hide? Naruto raised his head. His foolish expression vanished instantly, replaced by cerulean eyes as cold as ice. Kanbanshuko Haki, activated. Kakashi's heartbeat, muscle shifts, and next movements mapped out clearly in Naruto's mind. No, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said softly. Because this test ends in 3 seconds. Soru. Boom! A violent gust of wind blew across the clearing as the ground beneath Naruto shattered. Kakashi's eye widened in sheer shock. It felt as if a high-level Jonin had suddenly materialized in front of him. Fast. Unbelievably fast. Kakashi tried to dodge instinctively, but in that same millisecond, he felt a light touch at his waist. Creak. Naruto slid past Kakashi, 2 miniature spatial air doors flickering around his fingers. He casually raised his hand, and 2 silver bells jingled between his fingers. Kakashi froze, reaching down to his belt. It was empty. He hadn't even felt the bells being detached. In the bushes, Sasuke's hair stood on end. I couldn't even follow his movement. Naruto tossed the bells in the air and caught them smoothly, his cold. Chapter 13, The Mask Cracks. Silence blanketed training ground 3. Kakashi stood frozen, his hand hovering uselessly over his empty hip. Sasuke's jaw was dropped, his Sharingan-less eyes wide with sheer disbelief. Sakura couldn't even process what had just happened. Naruto casually tossed 1 silver bell to Sakura and the other to Sasuke. Here, Naruto said, his voice flat and devoid of its usual high-pitched obnoxious tone. You too can have them. And Naruto. Sakura stammered, holding the bell with trembling hands. What about you? I don't need a bell to prove my rank, Naruto replied, turning his back on Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, you said whoever didn't get a bell goes back to the academy. But since we worked together, or rather, since I secured the objective for the team, all 3 of us pass. Isn't that the point of this team exercise? Kakashi narrowed his visible eye, a cold sweat breaking out under his mask. He didn't just outspeed me, he read the true intent of the test from the very start. Pass, Kakashi declared slowly, his eye curved into a tight smile that didn't reach his thoughts. Team 7 officially passes. Over the next 2 weeks, Team 7 was assigned standard D-rank missions, weeding gardens, retrieving lost cats, and cleaning trash from rivers. While Sasuke grew furious at the mundane work, Naruto didn't waste a single second. He sent a single shadow clone disguised in his bright orange jumpsuit to perform the labor, while his main body trained inside the One Piece pocket dimension, perfecting his Rankyaku and Kami-e. Finally, inside the Hokage's office, Sasuke snapped. Lord Third. Sasuke yelled, slamming his hands on the desk. Give us a real mission. Something higher than catching lost pets. Hiruzen blew a puff of smoke from his pipe, looking over his spectacles at the squad. His eyes lingered on Naruto, who was leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, completely silent. Very well, Hiruzen relented, motioning to his assistant. Since you insist, I will assign you a C-rank mission. You will escort a bridge builder back to his homeland. The door swung open, and an old man smelling heavily of alcohol stumbled into the room, holding a bottle of sake. A bunch of bratty kids? Tazuna grunted, glaring at them drunkenly. Especially the short one with the stupid look on his face. Are you really expected to protect me? Sasuke scoffed, but Naruto's eyes remained completely impassive. Pulse. Naruto's observation haki swept over the old man. Instantly, Naruto picked up Tazuna's erratic, terrified heartbeat and the dark aura of bloodlust trailing a few miles outside the village borders. He's lying, Naruto analyzed coldly. This isn't a C-rank escort. There are high-level assassins already waiting for him. A dark, genuine smile touched the corner of Naruto's lips. Finally, a real bloodbath. Chapter 14, Blood on the Mist Road. The autumn sun beat down on the dirt road leading out of the Land of Fire. Team 7 walked in formation around Tazuna. Sakura was chatterboxes with Sasuke, while Kakashi lazily flipped through his orange novel. Naruto walked at the back, his hands tucked inside his baggy orange jacket. As they passed a small water puddle on the side of the road, Naruto didn't even slow his pace. Observation Haki pinged. A puddle? On a bright, dry day without rain for weeks? Naruto sneered internally. Rookie mistake. 2 steps past the puddle. Swoosh. The water erupted. 2 masked figures clad in heavy iron armor and armed with spiked, metal-linked chains burst into the air. The Demon Brothers, Gozu and Meizu, tuning-level rogue ninja from the mist. First one. They roared in unison. Their spiked chain whipped around Kakashi's torso, binding him tight. With a violent yank, they pulled the chain taut. Cringe. Kakashi's body was shredded into bloody chunks of flesh and wood. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura screamed in pure horror. Before Sasuke could even draw his kunai, his legs froze in sheer panic. The Demon Brothers materialized right above him and Tazuna, their poison-coated iron claws gleaming under the sunlight. Second one. Meizu hissed, bringing his claw down towards Sasuke's head. Sasuke's mind went completely blank. I can't move. Boom! A shockwave exploded across the dirt road. Before the iron claw could touch Sasuke, a blurred figure appeared directly in front of the Uchiha. Naruto stood tall, his bare left forearm raised casually to block the massive, sharp iron claw. Tekai! Clang! Sparks flew into the air with a deafening metallic screech. The sharp, poison-coated steel shattered against Naruto's bare skin like brittle glass, failing to leave even a red mark. What? Gozu gasped, his eyes bulging inside his mask. Human flesh blocked my weapon? Naruto didn't answer. His cerulean eyes were dead and cold. Soru. Naruto vanished. Before Gozu could even register the movement, Naruto materialized directly between the 2 giant brothers. He didn't use chakra. He didn't draw kunai. He simply raised both hands, his index fingers gleaming with compressed physical pressure. Shagun, finger pistol. Plinge. Plinge. 2 crisp, terrifying thuds echoed down the quiet road. Naruto drove his fingers straight through the heavy iron chest plates of both brothers, piercing their hearts with surgical precision. Gozu and Meizu froze, blood spurting from their mouths, before dropping face first into the dirt like lifeless sacks of meat. The battle was over in less than 2 seconds. Silence fell over the road. Sakura was paralyzed in shock. Sasuke stared at the 2 dead Chunin, then at Naruto's blood-stained fingers, his chest heaving with violent jealousy and terror. He killed 2 Chunin, without even flinching? Poof! A log dropped to the ground nearby, and Kakashi stepped out from the trees, his eye wide with genuine alarm. He had intended to let the attack happen to test the genin, but Naruto's ruthless, instantaneous execution had completely derailed his plan. Naruto casually wiped the blood off his fingers onto a leaf, stepping over the corpses. He turned his icy gaze toward the trembling bridge builder. Now, old man, Naruto said softly, his voice cutting through Tazuna's soul like a razor blade. Start talking. Who is paying those assassins to hunt you? Chapter 15, The Devil of the Mist. Tazuna broke down, sinking to his knees on the dirt road. Under the weight of Naruto's icy gaze and Kakashi's stern glare, the old bridge builder confessed everything: Geto's ruthless takeover of the Land of Waves, the crippling poverty of his people, and how he couldn't afford a real B or A rank protection detail. If you abandon me now, Tazuna wept, my granddaughter and daughter will mourn, and my home will forever remain in darkness. Sakura looked sympathetic, while Sasuke gritted his teeth, still shaken by Naruto's violent efficiency against the Demon Brothers. Kakashi sighed, scratching his silver hair. A rogue ninja attack makes this at least a B rank mission, far beyond a genin team. But we can't turn back now. He looked at Naruto. What do you think, Naruto? Naruto didn't even look at Kakashi. Geto is rich, isn't he? Kakashi blinked. Well, yes. He controls a massive shipping cartel. Then let's keep going, Naruto said, a dark glint in his cerulean eyes. A corrupt billionaire's vault. Sounds like a prime target for spatial theft. A small rowboat cut through the thick, blanketed fog of the land of waves. The silence was eerie, broken only by the quiet deep of Oz in the water. As they passed beneath the unfinished, massive structure of the great Naruto bridge, the air grew noticeably heavier. Pulse. Naruto's observation haki expanded across a radius of 200 meters. High in the mist, perched on a massive tree trunk along the shore, a dark, heavy chakra signature flared with killing intent. Zabuza Momochi, Naruto identified internally. Demon of the hidden mist. Everyone, get down. Kakashi suddenly yelled, grabbing Tazuna and shoving him to the dirt ground. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. A massive, broad sword spun like a helicopter blade through the mist, shearing off branches before slamming violently into a tree trunk. Standing casually on the flat side of the giant blade was a tall man, his face wrapped in bandages, his chest bare, and his eyes wild with bloodlust. Well, if it isn't Hataki Kakashi, the copy ninja of Konoha, Zabuza rasped, his cold voice echoing through the clearing. Hand over the old man, and I might let you live. Kakashi stepped in front of Team 7, his hand reaching up to lift his leaf forehead protector, revealing a glowing red eye with 3 black magatama. The Sharingan. Zabuza chuckled darkly. An honor. But you kids, stay back. He's on a completely different level. Sasuke stared at the red eye in disbelief. The Sharingan? How does an outsider have our clan's bloodline? Before Kakashi could initiate his stance. Hidden in mist jutsu, Kirigakure no jutsu. Thick, unnatural white fog billowed out from the river, completely blinding Team 7. The air became so dense with killing intent that Sakura fell to her knees, gasping for breath, while Sasuke's hands shook uncontrollably as he held his kunai. 8 points, Zabuza's voice echoed from every direction at once. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart. Which one should I strike first? Sasuke was so paralyzed by terror that he raised his kunai toward his own throat just to end the suffocating pressure. Suddenly, a warm, heavy hand slammed onto Sasuke's shoulder, instantly shattering the mental illusion. Calm down, Uchiha. Naruto's voice was as smooth and calm as deep ocean water. He's just talking to hide his hesitation. Sasuke gasped for air, looking at Naruto in complete shock. Naruto was completely unbothered by the suffocating killing intent. In fact, his eyes held nothing but cold boredom. Boom! Water erupted behind Kakashi. Before Kakashi could react, Zabuza materialized from the mist, his hand forming a rapid sequence of seals. Water prison jutsu, Suiru no jutsu. A massive, heavy sphere of dense water encased Kakashi instantly, trapping the elite Jonin inside. Zabuza kept one hand immersed in the sphere to maintain the jutsu. Hey, you're caught, Kakashi. Zabuza laughed darkly. He then raised his free hand, weaving another seal. Water clone jutsu. A clone made of condensed water materialized beside Zabuza. The clone drew a massive water-formed executioner's blade, glaring down at the 3 frightened genin. Wearing forehead protectors doesn't make you real ninjas, the water clone sneered. When you've hovered between life and death as many times as I have, then you can call yourselves shinobi. Now, die. Kakashi slammed his palm against the inner wall of the water prison, shouting in desperation, take Tazuna and run. The clone can't move far from his main body. Ren. Sakura froze. Sasuke took a step back in sheer terror. Naruto, however, took a casual step forward. Chapter 16, Shattering the Illusion. Ren? Naruto murmured, cracking his knuckles. Why would I run from a puddle of dirty water? Zabuza's water clone narrowed its liquid eyes. Arrogant brat. Swoosh. The water clone lunged forward, swinging the heavy water blade with enough force to bisect a horse. Sasuke screamed, Naruto, move. Naruto didn't even draw a weapon. He simply raised his right foot. Rankyaku, storm leg. Boom! Naruto kicked out at blinding speed. A blue, razor-sharp crescent of compressed vacuum air erupted from his leg, slicing through the air with a deafening sonic boom. The vacuum blade hit the water clone dead center. Splash! The clone didn't even get a chance to finish its swing. The compressed air pressure exploded the water clone into a harmless shower of rain, scattering water across the clearing. The vacuum blade didn't stop there. It continued flying forward, cleaving through 3 massive trees behind the clone before exploding into the cliff face. Crack thud. Silence fell over the land of waves. Zabuza's main body froze, his hand still inside the water prison sphere. His eyes bulged behind his bandages. A compressed air blade, created purely by physical kicking speed? No chakra seals? Inside the water sphere, Kakashi's single Sharingan dilated in absolute shock. That wasn't wind release, that was pure physical exertion. Just like Gai's ultimate taijutsu. Naruto casually dusted off his shoulder, stepping through the falling rainwater towards Zabuza's main body. Hey, demon of the mist, Naruto said coldly, his cerulean eyes locking onto Zabuza. You are holding Kakashi hostage because you think having your hand in that sphere keeps you safe, right? Zabuza gritted his teeth, sweat trickling down his neck. Don't get cocky, kid. You might be fast, but if I release this jutsu, I'll chop you into pieces. Try it, Naruto said softly. Soru. Boom! Naruto vanished. Zabuza's instinct screamed in warning. He tried to pull his hand out of the water prison to swing his sword, but he was too slow. Creak. A subtle air door opened directly beside Zabuza's arm. Naruto's hand emerged from thin air, his index finger gleaming with a deadly needle of blue chakra and compressed force. Shagun, finger pistol. Plunge. Naruto's finger drove straight into Zabuza's shoulder joint, shattering the bone and severing the nerve cluster in an instant. AG. Zabuza roared in agony, his arm going completely limp. The connection to the water prison broke immediately. The massive sphere of dense water collapsed, spilling hundreds of gallons onto the dirt. Kakashi hit the ground, coughing up water, but instantly sprang to his feet, his Sharingan spinning madly as he stared at Naruto in absolute bewilderment. Zabuza stumbled backward, clutching his shattered shoulder, blood pouring through his fingers. He looked at the 12-year-old boy standing before him, his mind reeling in sheer horror. He bypassed my defense, broke my jutsu, and shattered my shoulder, in less than 2 seconds? Naruto stood calmly under the cloudy sky, his orange jumpsuit completely dry, his eyes showing no heat, no anger, only absolute, cold dominance. He looked at Zabuza like an apex predator looking at a wounded stray dog. Is this the power of a 7 swordsman of the mist? Naruto asked softly, raising his hand towards Zabuza's throat. How disappointing. Before Naruto could strike the final blow. Whack! Whack! 2 senbon needles shot through the mist, driving straight into Zabuza's neck. Zabuza's eyes rolled back, and his massive body collapsed heavily onto the muddy ground, motionless. A young hunter Anyong wearing a Kirigakure mask dropped down from a tree branch, bowing politely to Kakashi and Team 7. Thank you for weakening him, the masked hunter Anyong said softly, his voice melodic and young. I have been tracking the rogue ninja Zabuza for months. I will take his body now. Kakashi checked Zabuza's pulse, finding none, and nodded slowly. Very well. The hunter Anyong picked up Zabuza's corpse and vanished into the mist. As the fog began to clear, Sasuke collapsed to his knees, staring at Naruto's back with a mix of terror, jealousy, and utter humiliation. Naruto didn't even look back at his team. His observation haki had already read Haku's fake killing intent and the deliberate non-lethal placement of the senbon needles. A fake death trick, Naruto sneered internally. They think they fooled us. Naruto turned his gaze toward the horizon, his lips curling into a dark, expectant smile. Let them rest. When Zabuza heals, his executioner's blade will make a fine addition to my dimension.